Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So it's been a fair few months since my last video. Apologies for that. For anyone who's been waiting for new videos to come out, they are going to be coming out a lot more regularly now. I've been spending the last few months actually going back through all of my data, both backtesting and live testing for my SMC strategy, and I've been creating that refined checklist and now been doing a sort of second run through of backtesting with that new refined sort of trade plan that I've created from that. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you a full review of the 5%ers, and this is a prop firm who I've recently come across. I'm actually taking a bootcamp challenge with them at the moment, and we'll go into some detail about that specific challenge and also the other programs they offer. But as a quick overview, I really think the 5%ers are probably one of, if not the top prop firms at the moment, not just on the different programs that they offer, but the factors that are really setting them apart from the other prop firms, and this includes things like a monthly salary on certain accounts once you reach a certain level. You've got bonuses on some of the challenges once you're passing each phase, which you can then use on later purchases. They've got a whole range of trading resources which other prop firms really lack or don't have that sort of quality of education. And they've also actually got really competitive spreads, which you'll be able to see later in the video, sometimes even being as small as 0 pips on pairs like EU, which is really good, and again is a lot better than some of the other prop firms that I have experience with. Just before we jump into the video and I take you through everything on the 5%ers website, I just want to let you know that there is a code in the description of this video, and that's going to be able to give you 5% off any challenge you want. It's going to be applied automatically to your basket once you're at checkout. It is an affiliate link, so I will also receive 5% for any purchases you make. You don't have to use the link if you don't want to, but if you do go to the 5%ers website without the link, you're not going to be able to get that 5% discount. So if you would like the discount, the link is in the description below. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So guys, this is the homepage of the 5%ers. Now, as you can see at the very top of the page, we've got a whole range of different drop-down options from their funding programs, different trading resources they have, and some information about the 5%ers, also with the client area to the side. But I know the majority of you guys will be most interested in the different funding programs that the 5% have on offer. So we're going to be going through them first. I'm going to be giving a little overview of what the type of accounts they have, who they're best suited towards, i.e. what type of trader you ideally want to be to take these different challenges, and then we'll sort of move on into the other things that the 5%ers do offer, which I do really think actually sets them apart from the other prop firms within this industry. Now, as I mentioned in the introduction to the video, the 5%ers currently have 3 different types of funding programs that you can choose between. To have a look at these different programs, you can simply come up to the drop-down menu up here, or if you're on the homepage, you're able to just scroll down, and they've got a very quick overview of the different programs they have here. Firstly, we've got the hypergrowth program over here on the far left. This was previously known as the instant funding program. This is where you're able to get traded from day one, profit targets from the very first phase. The high stakes challenge we have here in the middle is your sort of more standard prop firm challenge, as I call it. It's your sort of 2-step challenge. I think the first target is 10%, second target 5%. And then on the far right here, we have the Bootcamp Program, and this is one of the newer sort of programs they have on offer. It's an extremely low entry cost challenge, and it's really great because it doesn't have a sort of fixed time period on it like the typical sort of high stakes challenge does. So we'll go through each of these in a bit more detail now. I'll give you some information about the specific rules they have and what sort of traders these are aimed towards. So firstly, we've got the hyper growth program. And as I mentioned, this was formerly known as the instant funding program. And it's a really interesting program. So firstly, as it says here, it's actually the program with the highest success rate in the industry, which, off the bat straight away is something you really want to be seeing. But most importantly, I think with this type of program is it's got the fastest scaling plan that I've personally seen in the prop firm industry. So as it says here, you've got no time pressure and you can grow your account up to a possible 4 million. And I know there are other prop firms out there currently that do offer 4 million, maybe even more. But I think what sets the 5%ers apart here
is the sort of time period that you have to be able to scale up to that 4 million. I know for a lot of other prop firms, it's going to take you so many different individual steps to get there. But as we'll see when we scroll down onto this page and we have the breakdown of the scaling plan, you're going to see that it's a really, really achievable sort of figure to be able to get, and not something that's going to take you, years of time possibly. And I think that is what really sets this hypergrowth program apart from all of the others. So there are several entry levels you can choose if deciding to take this type of program. You've obviously got the 10K account here, the 20K account, and also the 40K account. And no matter what account you apply for, the evaluation funding you get is always going to be 50% of the account size you're going for. So for example, if you're going for the 10K, you're going to be trading with the 5K account in your evaluation. 20K, you're going to be trading with 10K. And for the 40K, you're going to be trading with 20K. Now, the evaluation target is quite standard. It's a 10%. You've got a stop out level of 6%. So a bit more tighter than some other prop firms, which maybe allow you 10% or 12%. And we've got a daily pause of 3%. And I know some of you might be thinking, again, that's less than the normal daily drawdown that some prop firms have. But there's a big difference here because it is a daily pause, not a daily stop out. And it's very important to distinguish there, because the difference here is that on other accounts that have the sort of daily drawdown stop out, your account, you'll have a violation, you'll lose your account if you hit that. Usually it's 5%, let's say 5%, you hit the 5% in that day, you're going to lose your entire account. What the 5%ers have done here is they put in a daily pause. So if you hit -3% in that given day, you don't lose your account, you're simply unable to place trades until the next trading day starts. So I think this is a really sort of important distinguisher. You're not just going to lose your account if you do lose 3% in this example in a day. You're just going to pause it. And this is actually probably going to help you in the long term. It's going to give you that time to step back from the charts, take some time off, and then come back that next day with a sort of fresh mind. Now, as we go down, we can see that the profit split is up to 100%. Obviously, it doesn't start on 100%. Once we go down into the scaling plan, we'll jump into how this sort of increases over time. And the most important thing that I really think is this 12 months time limit. So, other prop firms out there are going to give you a very short time period that you need to hit these targets. Usually it's a month, maybe 2 months, depending on what type of challenge you're doing. And that can actually lead to a lot of pressure, especially in your psychology. I think as well, it can often be down to luck, honestly. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me there, but no strategy is ever going to be, have its best month every single month. You're going to have some months that are a bit slower. And if you decide to take a challenge in that given month, there's a high probability that you might fail that challenge, or you might have to do a free retry or whatever. But if you've got a 12-month period, you've got a huge amount of time to be able to hit that 10%, and you don't have to, put that pressure on yourself. And again, going back to this stop out level, if you've got 12 months to complete the entire challenge, you don't need to be risking ridiculous amounts, meaning that you're going to get close to that 6%. You may want to risk, let's say you risk 1% on your normal sort of prop firm challenges. On this type of account, you may only need to risk 0.5% or 0.25%, just because you've got so much more time. You don't have that pressure to feel like you need to be making those big trades every single day. Now, the leverage is pretty standard at 1 to 30. I don't think you're going to have any issues with this. At least you shouldn't if you're using sort of correct risk management and not over trading. And you can obviously see the one-time fees you have to pay for each of the different accounts. So it's $260 for the 10K, $450 for the 20K, and $850 for the 40K. And what's really important here as well is they've introduced this bonuses. So for every phase of the evaluation that you complete, you're going to receive bonuses, and these bonuses can then be used towards future purchases within the 5%ers. So it's really important, not only are you getting your profit split where you can take home, a percentage of the profits that you've made within that phase of the evaluation, you're also going to be awarded a bonus, which you can use towards future purchases, either on more accounts of this or another styles of accounts. But, I think that's a really interesting addition that they've put in, because I haven't actually seen any other prop firms including this type of bonus within their challenges. So as we scroll down, there is a little video here you can watch about the bonuses. It'll probably give a better explanation than I've just given, but it's really interesting. You should definitely check it out. We've then got some, clear specifications for the challenge. And as we can see, you're going to double your funded account on every target. The profit target, maximum loss, and daily pause are all going to remain the same no matter what phase you're in. It will obviously be adjusted to your account size, but they're always going to remain at those fixed percentages. And as we can see here, the daily pause does not terminate the account. So this is the big sort of distinguisher between other prop firms where you would lose your account if you hit that daily drawdown. This is simply going to disable the account for the current day, and then traders can continue trading the very next day at, as this point says, midnight MT5 server time. Now, there are a lot of information in here that we can talk about. As we said, the growth up to 4 million, leverage 1 to 30. News trading is obviously allowed, which is good for people who like to trade around news. There's a whole range of assets with FX, metals, and indices. The platform is limited to MT5. There's no MT4 option, but I don't really think that's a big issue. I think MT5 is actually really good. I'd never actually used to use it before signing up with the 5%ers, but I've been really enjoying my experience with it so far. We've got no minimum trading days, which is really great. So you don't have to, if you've passed that challenge early, you don't then have to be placing those, really small 0.01 lots trades for, 5 days just to meet those minimum days, which is obviously useful. You're able to hold over the weekend, including indices. It does carry a high swap, but I think that's sort of expected. And as we can see, you complete level 1 immediately once you reach that profit target. That's when you're going to start getting your first payout, and that's when you can then begin that process of scaling your account. Now, as we can see, there is a maximum amount of accounts you can have. It's currently 40,000, but this can be split sort of however you like it. As you can see, you could have 4 10K or 2 20K accounts, or just the 1 40K. And beyond that, we'll just go into the growth plan below, because I think that's, sort of the most important part of this funding program, is how you can scale the account to some really, really high figures. So this is what the growth plan looks like for the hyper growth program. As I said at the start of this, I think this is what really, really sets apart this type of program from all of the other programs, not only within the 5%ers, but within all the other prop firms within this industry. And I think, as you can see just from this table here alone, the scaling opportunities with this type of program is next to none. And, there are other prop firms out there where you're able to scale your accounts to similar amounts, but I think the speed at which you can scale with the 5%ers on this specific account is next to none. And the reason I say that is just because of how quickly your initial balance can increase from, 40,000 or 20,000 within that evaluation, all the way up to 4 million, only within about 8 or 9 stages. So as we can see, if you've applied for the 40K evaluation, you'll be given your 20K initial balance to trade with on your evaluation. You obviously need to make that 10% target. Once you reach that 10% target, you're going to receive a payout of 50%, and you're also going to receive a $50 bonus. And as I mentioned, this bonus is going to be able to be used towards future purchases within the 5%ers for any future challenges you may want to do. Now, once you've completed this first evaluation trader stage, you're going to be going into the funded trader stage, which they call level 2 here, and you're going to be given that 40K account that you applied to at the start. Again, the milestone target is going to remain the exact same throughout. It's always going to be that 10% target. So once you reach that 10% target, you're going to be able to get your payout of 75% and your bonus of $100. Now, you're going to have your account doubled again, this time to 80,000. Your profit target is again going to be 10%. Your payout's still going to be 75%, and you're going to get a bonus of $200 once you've completed this stage. Now, as we continue, you can see pretty much the theme continues. Your account size will always be doubled pretty much. So you're going to go from 80K to 160K to 320K, 640K to 1.28 million at this level 7 stage. As you can see, once we actually reach that 640K account, your payout will increase to 80%. And at this stage, you're actually receiving a bonus of $1,600 to spend on, future challenges and stuff, which is pretty incredible considering that I don't think any other prop firms are currently offering this type of bonus. And once you then reach, your first sort of 7-figure funded account, which is the 1.28 million, your payout will increase to 100%. So of the profits you're making on that account, you will receive all of them. There is no cut that the 5%ers will be taking. And that is again the same. Once you hit that 10%, you're going to be increased to 4 million. So this is more than doubling your previous account, which would be the 1.28 million. And again, you're not going to have a profit target now. You're just going to be able to trade freely, and you're going to be able to get those 100% payouts, which is really, really good. Now, just a quick look, just if we go down to the 10K, you can see there's a few more stages, but even with the 10K, the scaling opportunities are incredible. So in about 10 stages, as you can see, you're going to be able to go from your initial 5K, which is in the evaluation, all the way again down to that 4 million. And you're going to see your payouts increase slowly over time. Profit target, as I said, is always going to remain in that 10%, but your bonuses are also going to increase as you are going through those different levels. So this scaling plan, I don't know what you guys think of it, but in my opinion, it is really, really great. It's something that I've seen a few other prop firms try and emulate in their own sort of ways, but I've never seen someone be able to do it in such an impressive way. And more so, as I say, just sort of the speed that you're able to go through this. And I'm not saying that it's, you know, forcing people to rush, as you don't have a time limit. As we know, you've got 12 months to do this. It's more just, you know, from that 10K, you've got 10 steps, just 10 percenters, so 100% in that sense. And you could be trading 4 million. So, you know, if you've got a strategy that averages 100% in a year, just think about it this way. If you open a 10K account now, in a year's time from now, you could be technically trading with 4 million and receiving 100% of all profits that you make on that account. So I think that gives a pretty good overview of the hyper growth program. So now we will jump into the high stakes challenge. So this is the high stakes challenge, and it is the high risk, high reward program for the confident trader. And it's your sort of standard two-step evaluation program that you might see offered in other prop firms out there in the industry. However, there is one thing I believe that is really, really setting apart this style of challenge compared to the other prop firms. And we're going to get into it in a bit more detail as we scroll down on this page. But it is the monthly salary that you can receive from the 5%ers once you hit a certain account size. And I think this is something that a lot of you are going to be interested in. As I mentioned when we were talking about the previous program they had, you know, no strategy is always going to have, you know, even profitable months every single month. You know, you might have some slower months, you might have some negative months. And I think it would be really, really great as a trader to know that you have an assured salary at the end of the month. It takes a huge amount of pressure off yourself, which will inevitably mean that you'll be able to trade your plan more accurately, have your emotions, you know, making much less of an impact on your trading decisions. So yeah, we'll scroll down, we'll go through the high stakes challenge, and I'll give you a sort of overview of how this challenge works. So at the moment, you have an option to take an evaluation for a 5K, which I believe is actually brand new. I think they introduced this only a few days ago. You've got the 20K, 60K, and 100K. And as we were saying, it's very, very similar to your standard sort of two-step evaluation program. Your first stage, you're going to have 30 days. You're going to need a minimum profitable days of 3 days. So it's slightly different to other challenges where you only need 3 trading days. This is asking you for 3 profitable days. Your maximum daily loss is a sort of standard 5%. Your maximum loss, again, the standard sort of 10%. Interesting point to note here that this time it is a maximum daily loss. This is not a daily pause as the previous program was offering. If you do hit this 5% in the day, you are going to lose your account. So that's something to pay attention to. And the profit target for this phase 1 is 8%. You do get a small sort of profit share at the end of that stage, but then you go into step 2. You've got your 60 days, again, same amount of profitable days, same daily loss, same maximum loss, but a smaller profit target of 5%. And again, this is quite standard within this sort of 2-stage evaluation process, where the first stage is all focused on making sure you can reach that sort of 8%. And then the second stage is focused on sort of consistency. You know, was that stage 1 just a fluke, or are you able to, you know, trade 60 days and reach a smaller profit target, but have that sort of sustainable growth? Because that's obviously what they want. They want sustainable traders who have consistent profits. And so once you've passed those 2 stages, you will then become a high stakes trader, as you can see here with the 5%ers. And you will then receive your live account. And that's when you have a new set of rules to follow. They're pretty similar to everything you were following within the evaluation, but we'll just go through them. You obviously have an indefinite amount of trading period because you are no longer having to pass a sort of fixed phase. You need some minimum profitable days. I believe this is to receive any sort of payout. Your maximum daily loss and maximum overall loss will stay the same. Your profit target is 10% for growth. This doesn't mean you need to hit 10% to apply for a payout. This is just once you hit 10%, you will be able to then apply for a scale up. And we'll go into a bit more detail to that in a second. The cost is actually refunded. So on your first payout, Again, as with most of these sort of two-step evaluations, once you have your first payout of the account, you will receive a refund of the cost that you paid for the challenge. In this case, for the 100K is $495. And as you progress through the different stages, as you continue to scale your account, you will then be able to increase your profit share from an initial 80% all the way up to 100%. And not only this, as we mentioned, there are possibilities to start receiving a monthly salary, which you'll be able to see as you scroll down. Obviously, we have some of the specifications, slightly larger leverage, so 1 to 100. So those of you that like to really leverage your positions, this challenge may be more suited towards you. As we go down, we have the profitable days. So you would need to be over 0.5% to count as a profitable day. And you obviously need those 3 profitable days to be able to pass each phase. The daily loss is based on starting equity for the day or starting balance, which is ever highest between them. And they do offer a free 10-day extension if your account is above 5%, or a free retest if your account is in positive and has not been terminated for violating any of the various rules they have. So, quite standard, but really good offering. Good to see that they're offering it just like those other prop firms do. Holding trades overnight and over the weekend is allowed. Again, another important thing. News trades is allowed. You're not allowed to trade 2 minutes before or 2 minutes after high impact news. But in all honesty, you shouldn't be doing that anyway. I know some of you out there might be news traders, but I don't think that's really viable with spreads and stuff around news. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail here, but I don't think that should affect anyone too much, or at least throw them off. You're allowed to hold over news. That's the most important thing. You've got a range of assets, again, FX, metals, indices. Everything, as I said, is on MT5. And as we can see, you've got that profit split of 80% to 100% plus a monthly salary, which we will get into. And as we can see here, we've got a maximum number of active accounts per trader. This has been slightly updated, actually, because we've got that new 5K account. And as we can see, you are currently allowed 1 5K account and then 1 of any other of the accounts. That means you could have a 5K and 1 of the 20K accounts, a 5K and 100K account, and so on. And you are currently able to scale up to 500,000. Now, I know this isn't as much as some of the other prop firms offer, but you have to remember that the other prop firms are not offering the same monthly salary that the 5%ers are. And if you're looking for a program that does, scale up dramatically, then you can go have a look at that hypergrowth that we were just looking at before, because that has the fastest scaling plan in the industry at the moment. So we go down to the scaling plan, and this is where you're going to be able to see the sort of potential of this type of account. And also, if we go a bit further down, you're going to be able to see the monthly salaries down here. So we'll just go through. It's pretty simple, actually. Your balance target is always going to be 10% of the account that you're trading. So let's say you started on the 5K account. There's no profit target for actual payouts. So no matter what, you'll be getting that 80-20 split. But to scale up your account, you will need to hit that 10% target, which means you would need a balance of 5,500. Once you've hit that target, you'll then be able to scale up to the next level and so on. You'll still be receiving that 80-20, needing to hit that 10% to scale up to the next account. And as you can see, for the moment, you're sort of increasing by 2,500 each time. You'll hit that 15K account, then you'll be able to scale to 20K. And then once you've hit that 20K, you're going to start increasing by 10K each time you hit that 10%. So as we can see, you go from 20K to 30K to 40K to 50K to 60K. This is going to continue as you go from 70 to 80, and then you're going to take a bit of a jump to the 100. And now once you've hit the 100, your account is going to start increasing by 25,000. So we're going to go from 100,000 to 25,000 to 150,000. And as you can see, up to this point, the profit split has remained at 80% the entire time. So, really high payout split, really competitive. And once you actually hit 175,000, this profit split is going to begin to increase. So you will increase to 85% profit split, same as on the 200,000. Once you then reach the 200,000, you're going to increase to 250,000. And this is when your profit split actually increases again to 90%. Once you're able to scale up that account, so by reaching the 10%, obviously, you can then scale up to 300,000, still on that 90%. But once you hit that 10% on the 300,000, you're going to reach your 350K account. And once you reach this 350K account, this is where it gets really big, in my opinion. You've got 100% profit split. So you're going to receive 100% of all the profits you make on that salary. And you are going to receive a 4,000 monthly salary. So no matter what happens on that account, you are going to be receiving a $4,000 monthly salary. And as I said, this is really, really interesting because it's not something that I see a lot of other prop firms doing. As you can see on 400K, you're going to have the same monthly salary, same profit split, same with the 450K. But once you do reach that maximum funding of 500K, you're going to have that 100% profit split and then a 10K monthly salary. So I honestly think this is amazing. This is going to take so much pressure off your actual trading, which will in turn ideally lead to actually better returns. So it's a really good idea for both the actual traders and the 5%ers, because the traders are being rewarded with a monthly salary and the 5%ers are able to take that pressure off the traders, which will ideally in turn, as I said, make them able to, really trade their plan to the T, not let any psychological factors affect them. They won't have to worry about making a profit because they know at the end of the day, as long as they don't violate any of those account rules, they will be able to receive that monthly salary. And I think for most people, that is definitely more than enough to be living on, if not living a very sort of comfortable life on. So I think that sort of summarizes this high stakes challenge. And we can then look at the final funding program, which is the Bootcamp program. So the final funding program that the 5%ers offer currently is the Bootcamp program. And this is actually the program I'm currently taking with them. It's the first sort of low entry cost challenge. And you're going to see the costs in a second, but these are extremely low initial costs compared to everyone else within this prop firm trading industry. And I think, again, this is something that really sets them apart, especially for those of you who don't want to pay a large initial fee. Perhaps you're just sort of starting about, you're thinking of going into prop firm sort of trading. You're not 100% sure whether you're able to pass yet a two-step evaluation. You don't want to spend that fee just to lose it. A 100K account on a two-step evaluation is almost $500. But as we can see, once we scroll down, the fee for 100K here is simply 95 euros. So, dramatically cheaper. This is just the initial cost. If you do pass the challenge, as we can see down here, you will then have to pay the later amount. But the important part here is that it's only on completion. If you do fail the challenge, you've only lost $95 as opposed to that sort of, near $500 if you were taking the sort of two-step challenge. Now, there are 3 phases that we can see here. All of them will happen on a demo account. And the reason for this is to really prove that you've got that consistency and profitability over the long run. So we'll go into some of the details now. One thing to note is that the leverage for this account is a lot smaller than the other accounts. So it's only 1 to 10. As I said, I am trading this now. I haven't really had too many issues with this. I think there was one day where I had several trades open and I was trying to make another trade and I wasn't able to, just because I'd obviously had too much leverage on my account. But it really wasn't a big deal. I wasn't too fussed about it. One of the most important things about this program, again, is the time period you have to complete it. And again, you've got that 12 months there, which is really, really great to see. It's taken that pressure off, as I've mentioned in those other challenges. And, you may look at this when we come down as you've got a maximum loss of 5%, which is quite tight. But if you've got 12 months to, hit each of these challenges, so even if you split that 3 ways, you've got 4 months to complete each challenge. So 4 months to make 6%. You can, you don't have to be risking large amounts to ever come near that 5%. As I said, I am taking this challenge and I'm currently only using 0.25% risk. The reason I'm doing that is because I don't, as I said, don't want to come close to this maximum loss at all. Don't want to put that strain on myself. Also, I've got 12 months. I'm not in a rush to pass this challenge. I'm more than happy to sort of, in my mind, I said I would have it playing in the background. I would be trading normally. And who knows, within 12 months time, you could have that 100K account or less. Obviously, you don't have to use that full 12 months. But I think, a lot of people will look at the maximum loss and say maybe it's too tight. But really, when you've got 12 months, there is no need to be taking large risks on individual trades. There is no rush to pass this challenge. And the profit target is only 6%. So I have actually passed challenge 1. I'm now on challenge 2. So as I said, with 0.25% risk, I was able to reach that 6% profit target. I think I actually passed this challenge 1 in just over a month. So yeah, it is doable, and it's very doable on low risk. not over leveraging your account. As I said, the leverage is quite small, 1 to 10, but it shows that it is possible. And this leverage as well, as I say, 1 to 10, with the strategy I was using on this current account, I was using very small stop losses because I was trading on the M1. So I think the smallest stop loss I used was about 2.5 pips. And I think I was pretty much able to do that exactly. I think I had to reduce my lot size very, very slightly to not go over the maximum lot size with the leverage. But as I said, I have not had any significant issues with that leverage of 1 to 10. Now, what's really interesting about this account, again, is the scaling plan they have. So for every 5% gain you make once you receive that live account, you will be able to scale up your account, and the profit split will also scale up over time as well and can increase to that 100%, which is, of course, what we like to see. We want to be taking out 100% of our profits if possible. And, you can either start on that 100K bootcamp, as we said. There are 2 different types of accounts, 100K, which will cost you $95 or euros, it says here, or a 250K account, which is going to cost you 225 euros. So whichever one you want to choose, I did choose this 100K account. As we can see, when we scroll down, you'll be able to see the sort of scaling plan here. And let's say we started on the 100K, just like I have. Once you pass the 3 stages, which are described up here, of the maximum loss and profit target. Again, they're always going to be 5%, and each of the challenge you do, the profit target is going to remain at 6%. The only difference is that once you pass each sort of stage of the challenge, your overall account size will increase. So you obviously start with a 25K account. This is obviously for the 100K challenge. You'll start with a 25K account. You'll need to make a 6% profit target. Once you've made that 6% profit target, you'll then be given the 50K account. Again, you'll need to make that 6% profit target. You'll be given the 75K account. And then once you pass that final challenge, you will receive your 100K live account. And now once you're on the live account, the maximum loss does become slightly tighter. So it's now 4% instead of the 5% above, as you can see. But the profit target is also 1% less. So you've kind of, lost or gained a percent on either side. So it kind of works out quite evenly there. You will start at a 50-50 payout. Once you've hit that 5% profit target, you're going to be able to scale your account to 125K. So it's obviously an increase of 25K or a quarter of that initial balance. And your payout ratio within this stage is then going to increase to 75%. And this is going to increase pretty much all the way down until you hit this 2 million figure. And at 2 million, you are going to have your payout ratio increase to 80%. And then once you're able to pass this stage at 2 million, you will be increased to 2.5 million. And that's when you will begin to receive that 100% profit payout split. As you can see, a huge amount of potential to scale your account. And most importantly, from a very, very low fee. So now we've gone through the different funding programs that the 5%ers offer. I assume quite a few of you are probably now interested in taking up a challenge with this company, but I'm sure you're wondering what the trading conditions are like. And of course, that's a very important thing to consider when choosing the type of prop firm you want to trade with. So we're just going to go into a bit of detail about the sort of trading conditions you can expect, such as, commissions per trade, per lot, and also the spreads they have on the different pairs and indices that you can trade. So if you head over to the About section, you're going to be able to go down to the FAQs. And in the FAQs, you're going to be able to see a little section here that says, what broker do we trade with? And you can give this whole little section a read for yourself. One of the most important things that I've learned about the 5%ers trading conditions, which I really, really, really like, is they do not use a cap, which is what the majority of other prop firms use. And I have to say, I don't really like it at all. The spreads aren't usually that good. The data feed is also usually quite inconsistent with other brokers. It's not the most accurate. So as soon as I saw they weren't using 8 cap, I was pretty happy with that. And I thought, okay, I'll give this a go. As we can see at the bottom, the commission is $4 per lot, which also works out to 0.4 pips. And the spread for Euro US dollar is about 0.1 to 0.5 pips. And this is actually really, really accurate. I know a lot of other prop firms like to claim that they have tight spreads, and they don't. It's usually just a complete lie. But this week I did decide to do a quick comparison between the spreads for the 5%ers and one of the other prop firms I'm currently using. I'm not going to bait out the other prop firm at the moment, but you're going to be able to see that the spreads for the 5%ers were not only a lot better, but actually I think sort of incomparable, a lot tighter. I think the spreads on Euro US dollar, as you'll be able to see, were really, really impressive. But not only that, the other pairs that I was looking at also. And yeah, we'll jump over to that now. I'll give you a quick breakdown of what the spreads were looking like on the different accounts. So guys, as you can see, I've got two screenshots here. On the left, we've got my MT5 from the 5%ers, and on the right, we've got my MT4 from the competing prop firm. As I said, I'm not going to give the direct name. I don't want to be, baiting out other prop firms or, giving them a bad rap for possibly worse spreads, which we'll get into in a second. But this is just so you can see a direct comparison. The only thing I will say about the competing prop firm is that it's definitely within those sort of top 5, if not 3 main prop firms that you think of when you think of Forex prop firm trading industry. So these first 2 screenshots are taken during MY session, as you can see from the actual top of each screenshot. They're taken at 1:25, that's UK time, so GMT. And yeah, this is like prime New York session. And as we can see from the left on the 5%ers, we've got some really, really good spreads. We've got 0 pip spread on Euro US dollar, 0 pip spread on Aussie US dollar, and also a 0 pip spread on GU. As for EJ and AJ, slightly larger pip spread, but really, really good for these type of Japanese pairs. Usually have larger spreads anyway. And on EJ, you can see we've got a 0.4 pip spread, and on AJ, a 0.3 pip spread. And now if we compare this to the other competing prop firms, we can firstly see that the competing prop firm doesn't have any fixed spreads at all. So there are no currency pairs with 0 pip spreads. So EU's got 0.5, AU's got 0.6, and GU has a 0.9 pip. So really large difference there between the 5%ers. And then even with the sort of Japanese pairs that I trade also, we can see EJ has a 1.4 pip spread and AJ has a 0.8 pip spread. So again, everything on the competing prop firm here has a larger spread difference, and the 5%ers are very clearly winning in this regard. During MY session, during sort of normal market conditions, you can expect the 5%ers to have some really, really tight spreads. So it's good to see that they're actually, backing up that claim on their website. And we can then have a look at the next one, which was a US news release. And this was literally 5 minutes later at 13:30, so 1:30 UK time again. I think there was I can't remember exactly what the news was. It was a red folder on Forex Factory and Daily FX, which is where I get my economic calendars from. Wasn't, CPI or NFP or anything like that. So not a massive news release, but yeah, definitely a red folder on both of those websites. And as we can see, the spreads on the 5%ers, again, really tight, 0.2 spread on EU, 0 spread on AU, and 0.5 spread on GU. So we can see it does widen during news, but that's to be expected. We can actually see on the competing prop firm as well, 0.5 on EU, so larger again. AU 0.6 spread, again larger. GU is actually very slightly smaller, 0.4 pip spread, but that's actually only 0.1 pip spread difference. But otherwise, we've got Euro JPY. The spread does widen quite a bit there to 2.7 pips. But again, this is the exact same as the competing prop firm, so nothing to worry about too much. And actually on Aussie JPY, we have a 0.6 pip spread, whereas our competing prop firm has a spread a whole pip larger. So again, really good spreads from the 5%ers there. It's good to know that even in a high impact news release, especially if you're trading those major pairs like EU, AU, GU, you're going to have some really tight spreads still. And then if we go on to market close and rollover, so this is sort of between 10 p.m. GMT and 11 p.m. GMT. This is where spreads will widen a lot as the market closes, and you've got that rollover hour. Typically, we have some really, really wide spreads. And as you can see, the 5%ers again comes out on top compared to our other prop firm. Again, on EU, 0.4 pip spread, so really, really tight even in the market close, compared up to the competing prop firm of 2.1 pip spread. AU has a 3.3 pip spread, so quite large in this case. And our competing prop firm actually has about half of that, so 1.6 pip spread, sorry. So interesting to note there, AU has a slightly larger spread. But again, this is a market close, so you're not going to be placing any orders at this time. The only impact that's really going to make on you is if you've got an open trade, you might want to extend your stop loss just a little bit so you're not taken out by any widening spreads during this time. If we go down to EJ, we can see on the 5%ers, we've got a 5.7 pip spread. And on the competing prop firm, again, it's larger at 6.3 pips. Similarly on AJ, we've got 4.5 of the 5%ers. Slightly lower on the competing prop firm with 4 pip spread, so 0.5 pip spread difference there. And then we go down to GU and we can see the 5%ers is clearly on top here with a 2.1 pip spread, and the competing prop firm with a spread of 4.6. So hopefully from these little figures, you can see that in the vast majority of the time, especially on those major, US dollar pairs, the 5%ers is really going to come out on top. And especially if we go back to this, typical normal trading conditions, which is ideally what most of you will be looking at and take sort of most value from or find most important in your trading. We can see the 5%ers really comes out on top, especially when you're trading EU, for example, AU and GU, as you've literally got a 0 pip spread, which is really, really good, especially compared to this other prop firm, which I'm not going to drop any names. But yeah, they do use 8 cap, which is what I was mentioning earlier. And it's definitely not something I'm the biggest fan of, as you can see from the spreads we've got there. And finally, guys, there's one more thing that I just want to go through about the 5%ers that, again, I think really sets them apart from the other competition within the prop firm trading industry. And that's actually the trading resources that they provide over here. They're all completely free. You've got access to all of them. And whilst there are a few other prop firms out there who do offer their own trading resources, I think the 5%ers are really, one step ahead in providing quality education, not just, throwing out some random stuff here and there for traders to look at, but the majority of traders won't actually look at because it's not that useful. What the 5%ers provide is incredibly useful, not just to beginner traders, but also more advanced traders. So, you've got a Forex blog where there's a whole range of interviews and articles on topics such as strategies, managing risk, psychology. You've got different trading tools that you can look at. This has got indicators in that you're able to download. You're able to share your own trading ideas. They've got a new psychology coaching section, which is about to come out. This is going to be a webinar series with Gary Dayton. If you don't know him, he's the author of Trade Mindfully. Really impressive guy. His book's great. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend. So it's really impressive, actually, to see that the 5%ers have not only managed to get him in, but are willing to, invest in that type of education for their traders. You've got the trading room, and this is where you have a weekly sort of FX forecasting by team members. You've got the 5% classes, you've got videos, you've got a whole range of different styles of courses, especially within here. They've even got a prop firm sort of trading course, and that goes through, how to build a trading plan, how to manage risk, how to use correct psychology, pretty much everything you need to be able to succeed as a prop firm trader. Again, tips to succeed with the 5%ers. They've got their own economic calendar, which is obviously very useful. They've got webinars, which they release around 2 or 3 times a week, I believe. Again, really useful, and some more workshops, which again can explain some really key concepts within not only Forex trading, but trading in general and, just managing risk. And then the final thing to note before we end the video is the live trading event that the 5%ers are putting on. It is happening in London. To check it out, all you need to do is, be on the home page, and you're going to see this little button in the top right corner for the live trading event. If you click on that, it's going to take you to a new page, as we can see. And this is, as they say, the trading festival of the year. 20% off for the next 3 days. I think, well, as you can see, there's only a day, 14 hours left. I've already got my ticket. It looks like it's going to be a really, really valuable experience. So if you are in London or live in the UK, able to come down to London, you should definitely make sure you save your seat. There's going to be there's various tickets, firstly, that you can purchase. You can obviously go for the cheaper version or the more sort of premium versions. They all come with a whole range of different things, including, access to different lectures, exclusive workshops, lunch and snacks. And there's also actually going to be a trading tournament, as you can see here in the middle, with over 2.5 million worth in prizes. So really, really cool to see. And if we keep going down, you're going to see the sort of agenda they've got for all of their speakers that are going to be at this event. And you can go through these, have a look. There's a brief description on all of them. And yeah, it looks really, really good. And again, it's great to see that a prop firm is actually taking initiative to help the traders that are with them. It shows that they're not, in this game to make quick money out of people who are taking challenges and possibly failing. I know prop firms get accused of that quite a lot, where they make the majority of their profit from, but this gives a clear signal that the 5%ers are looking for long-term successful traders. And I think this event really typifies that, because it's an amazing experience that they've put on. So be sure to check that out. And I think that pretty much wraps up the entire video.
So guys, that concludes today's video and the review of the 5%ers. If you're thinking of giving them a chance, I would really recommend it. As I said, they are my favourite prop firm at the moment to trade with. I've had a really good experience with them, and all of the services they provide are really intriguing. I think they're really competitive with the other prop firms in the industry, and I think they have certain things that really set them apart. As I said at the start of the video, it's that monthly salary, it's the bonuses you can get on every challenge phase that you complete, and it's those trading resources, including that live trading event, which again I would really recommend if you've got the chance to check it out. So guys, see you in the next video. If you have any suggestions of any content you want to see, let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you then.